Antes de mais nada, só queria agradecer a todos os membros do canal DanteWill, especialmente os membros Hirohiro, Jake Frost, Virgil, Kindraw, Yelan, Raiden, Mitaka, Nashi, Wenderson, Tsukuyomi, Chase, Misaki, Sté, Thomas, Thiago, Lunity e Maria Eugênia. Inclusive, muito obrigado a Tsukuyomi aí, morcego-aranha, né? Também muito obrigado a todos os membros morceguinhos que apoiam demais esse canal também. Valeuzão mesmo. Agora sim, bora pro ritual das lanternas. Primeiro, vamos fazer o nosso react do vídeo promocional do ritual das lanternas, sonhos de lanternas, que vocês estavam me pedindo pra fazer. Aparentemente é um vídeo de promocional, como o próprio nome diz. É um vídeo promocional que meio que deve falar sobre o ritual das lanternas. Enfim, não sei porque eu tento explicar algo que o título já é super autoexplicativo, mas vamos lá. Ó, anime! Meu Deus, o quarteto em anime. Meu Deus, a dupla em... Eu vi umas irmãs, eu vi irmãs, teremos Bárbara e Jin no ritual das lanternas. Será-se? Jin tirou férias depois de 2 anos? Yoimiya, nossa. Pera aí. Gente, eu tô vendo muita gente aqui, tá? Eu tô vendo muita gente aqui. Que é esse pessoal todo aqui? Que é esse pessoal todo aqui? Ai, que bonitinha. Vocês viram o que aconteceu, né? A Klee correndo com a Kiki. O Albedo procurando alguém e uma explosão ocorre lá em cima. A Dori e a Mona. A Colette... Nossa, quanta gente! Kazuhinha... Usa... Oh. Podia acontecer, né? Oh, isso... Chat. Isso pode ser considerado canon de certa forma ou não? Porque isso não tá rolando no jogo, na história do jogo. Tá rolando num vídeo promocional. Eu queria que isso rolasse no jogo. Numa cutscene. Na minha cabeça pode, no meu coração é. Raiden tem raiva do Rex. Ué. Tem? Não lembro disso. Tem mesmo? Sem meme? Raiden não gosta do Vente. Raiden tem raiva do Vente.
Raiden não gosta de...
Ah, peraí. Eu acho que o Vente fala isso, não? Que ele não queria encontrar a Raiden. Ou não. Raiden não gosta de ninguém. A Ei fala. Caraca, eu não tô lembrado disso, mano. Nossa senhora. Já dá pra fazer mais um vídeo de fatos, hein? Que bonito as lanternas. Nas falas de personagem, entendi. Opa! Pesquei uma Yanfei aqui, hein? Pesquei uma Yanfei e um Reizou aqui, hein? Olha a Yanfei e o Reizou aqui. São eles? É Yanfei e Reizou mesmo? O Child? Onde? Ali, caraca, camufladaço. Olha que coisa boa deixar o maluco entrar em LIYUE depois de tudo que rolou. Que saudável. Fish, Razor e Bennett. Eu não vi esses 3. Ali, no cantinho. Nossa, mas estão muito ali, né? Vocês estão tampando eles, inclusive, viu, chat? Pera aí, vocês estão meio que tampando eles. Aí. Agora dá pra ver. Volta. Aí. Ah, que lindo. Oh. As três dançando. Ai, que lindo. Cadê a dançarina de Nazuma? Qual é a dançarina de Nazuma? Tem dançarina de Nazuma? Lógico que tem dançarina de Nazuma. O Ito? Os leitores e o Chongyun. Os três leitores e o Chongyun boiando ali de poste. Perdeu o Kazuha. Opa! Ó. Os três líderes. Botaram o Ayato de líder de Nazuma aí, ó. E aí? E aí? Três ricos. Ah, e ó, tanto personagem. E quem que a gente vai sentar do lado? Quem que a gente vai fazer companhia? Ele, né? Senão ninguém faz, né? Não por escolha das pessoas, mas por ele mesmo. Só pra deixar claro. Muito fofo, muito fofo, muito fofo, muito fofo. Amei, 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 amei. Ele sorriu. Xiao Tá, esse vídeo não é canon, infelizmente. Acabamos de perceber que o vídeo não é canon. Que o Xiao está... Não, ele não tá sorrindo. Ele tá sorrindo. Ele não tá sorrindo. Ele não tá sorrindo. Tá com uma expressão neutra. Dá pra ver claramente a neutralidade. Não tá sorrindo, não. Ele tá puramente neutro. Sinuito. Jogando onde? Ah! O Sinuito jogando! Ai, o Ito bravo! E a gangue era ataque! Nossa, oh, muito legal, muito legal, muito legal. Nossa, eu pisquei e perdi isso. A Mona comendo também às custas dos outros, provavelmente. Caraca, eu pisquei e perdi isso, realmente. Muito bom, muito bom, muito bom. Amei, amei. Simplesmente muito bom. Amei o vídeo promocional, mas já tô triste porque eu sei que isso não vai rolar no jogo. Mas tudo bem, bora. Bora agora pro nosso ritual das lanternas de verdade. Aqui, longas distâncias por uma música misteriosa. Qual será essa música misteriosa, hein? Qual será? Eu acho que eu conheço essa música misteriosa. Viu, Tartaglia? Nem vi. Bora, bora. Oi pra Xiangling primeiro. Por que Xiangling? Por quê? Confirmado nosso top amigo de LIYUE é Xiangling. Mano, eu posso estar enganado, mas no último evento de LIYUE a gente não encontrou o zumbi no exato mesmo lugar. Na exata mesma cadeira. Que bela surpresa você por aqui.
Oh, why the pleasure is all mine.
No mesmo lugar.
It must be fate that brings us together in this place. How have you fared as of late?
Eba, está tudo bem. Ele é o único cliente do... Eu acho que é alguma coisa língua de ferro, né? Esqueci o nome do NPC. Tian Língua de Ferro, o próprio.
I sense you are older and wiser than the last time we met. It seems your travels continue to yield valuable insights.
Entendeu, chat? Frutos. Porque a gente estava em Sumero.
You are too kind.
So, Zhongli, are you here to listen to stories over tea again?
I had originally planned to set out after this last round of tea.
Se o Zongli tá conversando com a gente, ele tá falando sozinho. O cara contando a história pro nada, o Zongli conversando com a gente.
I had planned to take a walk to Chingsa village and gather some nascent bamboo shoots, which are currently in season. A villager there
O
once gave
único
me a
cliente
small
do Tian Língua de
sample
Ferro,
that
o
possessed a
literal
most
único.
excellent flavor.
Broço de bambu, tá bom. É comestível?
Why can't you just use normal bamboo shoots
Ah, é uns especiais.
Paimon knows, because Zhongli prefers the finer things in life, right? Okay, Mr. Particular, let me guess. Ahem. The nascent bamboo shoot has a uniquely tender texture and a delicate sweet taste that its normal cousin cannot.
Ele vai falar, não, é só porque é mais barato.
An astute observation.
Droga.
You know me well indeed.
Droga, não, era só diálogo expositivo mesmo. Eu sei que ia ser engatar uma piada.
Lantern Rite is almost upon us, but besides the bamboo shoots, there are a few other items I have not yet procured from Director Hu's list. May I ask if you have already made arrangements for the days ahead?
Planos para os próximos dias, Zong? Eu? Nunca. Tenho plano nenhum. Irmão? Que irmão?
Well, we were planning to use the opportunity to say hi to some of our friends, but before we were able to figure out a schedule, we ran into you.
Ok.
Well then, might I invite you to imagine the sheer delight that is a soup cooked with the freshest nascent bamboo shoots in all the land. Generous cuts of pork belly and crisp, fragrant bamboo shoots placed together in the pot and left to simmer slowly for half a day.
Pera aí, você ferve por metade de um dia? Porco e bambu. Já estou babando.
You're doing this on purpose, aren't you? Paimon's onto your plan. You just want to hoodwink us into fetching your bamboo for you.
Acho que essa é a primeira vez que a gente vê a Paimon com estrela nos olhos.
Why, I assure you, I would do no such thing. I merely wish to inform you of the freshest, most succulent and flavorful bamboo shoots one could ever hope to taste.
Let's go, traveler. Paimon's taste buds can't take it anymore.
É isso, né?
Collecting a few bamboo shoots shouldn't take too long. Paimon has gotta get her hands on some of that soup.
É incrível como até o próprio deus da região nos encontra depois de muito tempo e em menos de 5 frases o maluco já tá pedindo pra gente fazer algo, né?
Such fine specimens are indeed well worth the excursion. Very well. I shall leave the bamboo shoots to you. Should you have the good fortune to find some, please.
Tá bom. Tá
Paimon
bom.
knew he was just bamboozling us.
You got bamboozled. Ah, nossa, muito bom, muito bom. Nessas horas a dublagem inglesa vale muito a pena, mano. Pelo amor, muito bom.
However, there is no need to rush. The streets of LIYUE will be bustling with visitors and filled with all manner of celebrations during the festive period. By all means, go wherever your interests lead you. The nascent bamboo shoots would be but a wonderful final touch to a most exceptional feast. What an honor it would be to savor them in the company of friends.
Ok. Explica, vou fingir que entendi. Ela fala bamboozling, tipo... eu não sei traduzir isso bonitinho. Mas é meio que uma piada e um trocadilho ao mesmo tempo. E eu ri mais ainda porque eu não sei se a intenção foi exatamente essa, mas tem um termo em inglês que é... tipo essa frase do... não sei se eu vou achar agora, mas é um termo pra quando você foi você foi enganado, quando você foi triqueado. É, do Mirage do Apex Legends, exatamente esse, Mini. Não sei, quando você foi tapeado, tá ligado? Exatamente. Aí é um termo em inglês pra isso. Aí ficou uma piada, um trocadilho com o bambu, com o bambusling, com esse... Nossa, uma soma de coisas. É, trollado. Acho que trollado é a melhor tradução possível. Nossa, mas enfim.
We're heading out. Enjoy your walk, young Lee.
Take care now, you two.
É muito bom. Foi uma sequência de piadas numa frase só. Numa palavra só. Mas enfim, bora lá. Bora obter o broto de bambu. Nada a ver com a legenda. Não, eu acho que nem o melhor legendário conseguiria botar uma legenda condizente com a piada. Nem sei se teria como traduzir isso de uma forma...
Bamboo shoot.
Ai.
Bamboo shoot. Nascent bamboo shoot. Oh, this one's only just sprouted, and it looks super fresh.
Obrigado. Obrigado.
These should be enough. Let's head back.
Vamos lá, chat.
Did you hear that? Someone's calling for help.
Não, eu não ouvi.
It's coming from over there.
Eu tenho um bambu pra entregar, com licença.
We been cricket, we been backsata bad and kit possible bamboo soul.
Exatamente, Golofera. Obrigado pelos 5 bits. Bota Yao Yao rapidinho. Ah. Que timing, hein? Yao Yao!
Are you okay? Did any water go down the wrong pipe?
Um NPC com uma roupinha nova! Pera, isso não é um casaco fatui, não? Calma. Tô louco essa coisa que não é o que os fatui tem, não? Fontaine? Tá... É, sim, é bem parecido com Fontaine, mas esse capuzinho aqui... Posso estar louco. Mas...
I think I'm okay now. Thank you so much.
Bota umas estrelinhas, bota uns símbolos musicais, pinta de outra cor e é uma roupa nova. Olha que coisa incrível.
That was scary. Well, at least you're all right. All thanks to your savior here. Oh, a little girl?
Olha. Só 2 anos pra aparecer no jogo, a cria.
Greetings, everyone. My name is Yao Yao. It's a pleasure to make your acquaintance.
Prazer é todo meu.
Whoa, she's so well-mannered. My name's Paimon, and this is the Traveler.
Ok. Olá.
I'm Dvorak, a musician from Fontaine.
Dvorak. Ok.
I came through Stone Gate intending to head towards LIYUE Harbor, but then I became captivated by the beautiful scenery. And before long, I was completely lost.
Se você tivesse um sistema de mapa, que eu por algum motivo tenho.
Just now I was so mesmerized by the waterfall that I slipped and fell into the water. If it weren't for Miss Yao Yao's help, I shudder to think what might have happened.
It's all right, Mr. Dvorak. The splashing around the bottom of the waterfall means the stone path.
Esse VA é um criador de conteúdo que foi chamado para dublar.
O cara que faz a voz desse personagem é um músico de verdade. Eu acompanho as lives dele de vez em quando. Ele sempre comenta das músicas do jogo e como ela tem bastante influência de música clássica.
Que maneiro! Obrigado pelos 5 bits, Golofera. Oh, maneiraço! Ah, eu nunca vou ter essa oportunidade porque não tem dublagem. Ah.
Yes, ma'am. I understand. I'll remember to be more careful
Yes,
next time.
ma'am. Eu não sei se ma'am é o melhor termo para uma criança. Não sei como funciona em inglês, mas eu nunca vi alguém usar ma'am para criança. Virou uma senhora, exatamente. Automaticamente, Yao Yao envelheceu 50 anos.
Oh, are you hungry, sir?
Oh, I'll be fine.
Please, sir, it's quite all right. I was born and raised here in Liyue. It's only
Como
natural for me to
rabanete,
extend my
senhor. Como
hospitality to any
rabanete.
guests who are passing through. I expect you still have quite a long journey ahead of you. It's very important to keep your energy levels up. I still have some lotus flower crisps left in my backpack.
Ah, achei que ela ia oferecer o rabanete. Não, isso é a Anahida. Como uma Anahida.
You're welcome.
Ok.
So tasty. If only there were more.
Você já comeu tanto quanto um animal de carga.
Having a healthy appetite is a good thing. It means Paimon's still growing. If I'd known I was gonna run into you, I would have made a second batch.
Ok. Já sabe, né, chat? Se vocês estiverem comendo demais, relaxa. Vocês estão crescendo. Às vezes é pros lados, mas vocês estão crescendo.
What do you think, sir? Are Liyue's snacks to your taste? I wonder if they're not sweet enough.
Ok.
No, they're perfect.
Oh, esse cara
When I
parece
was
ser
traveling
fofo.
through Mondstadt, I had a chance to try one of their moon pies. It had a meat filling, unlike these crisps. But apart from that, it seems like they follow a similar cooking process. Both are delicious in their own way. As for Fontaine's cooking, though, it's been a long time since I've had a taste of home.
Sounds like you spend a lot of time on the road, huh?
Por que eu não tenho 3 metros?
I do. It's part of my job. I'm one of the main organizers of the Iridescence Tour.
Iridescence Tour.
Iridescence tour?
Ok.
The Iridescence Tour is one of the biggest
Peraí,
music
isso estava no
festivals in
teaser,
Fontaine.
né? Estava
We're looking
no
to
trailer de
expand, though.
atualização.
Our aim is to hold a festival in every nation. At least, all the main organizers share this goal. Unfortunately, it's a
2
long
anos,
story,
nenhuma mudança de
so I'll
altura.
spare you the details. But anyway, so the main reason I'm traveling all around Tavad is to promote our music festivals. But I have some personal reasons too.
Ok.
Well, what are they? Just tell us already.
Let me see. Well, to explain it in full, I'd have to start with a story from my ancestors. I don't want to take up too much
Meu
of your time.
Deus. O cara chegou... Eu ia falar que ele ia falar tudo começou quando eu nasci, mas não. Começou antes do cara nascer.
I love listening to stories.
Conte.
We want to hear it too.
Okay, then I'll start from the beginning. The story goes that my ancestor, who was also a traveler, once slipped and fell into a lake during his travels. As he was sinking and gasping for breath, he heard a wondrous tune in the air. They
20.
say it was the most beautiful, moving melody he had ever heard.
20.
Even in that life and death moment, the ethereal music seized his full attention and almost made him forget the fact that he was drowning.
Que? Imagina a cena na sua cabeça. Você tá se afogando, você escuta uma música, do nada você para. Você para, você esquece que tá se afogando e começa a apreciar a música.
When he finally came to, he found that he had already been brought ashore. Not too far from him stood an unfamiliar woman with an almost divine aura.
20?
Once she saw that he was no longer in danger, she left without a word. My ancestor tried to run after her to give his thanks, but although a mere dozen paces separated them, no matter how quickly he gave chase, he drew no closer. and remained a
Aparentemente é o
dozen paces
20.
behind. In the end, all he could do was to bow in thanks to the woman as he watched her walk away towards the rivers and mountains in the distance, before at last he turned around and made his way home.
E se ele se confundiu? Tem muitas pessoas que se confundiram a primeira vez que viram 20.
Once he returned to Fontaine, he began to learn an instrument so that he could spread his story far and wide, just like the bards.
Ok, bonito.
After generations of retelling, embellishing, and dramatizing, people have come to think of that lady as something like a fairy.
Uma fada. Ah, é, né? Fadas existem nesse jogo. Literal, tem Eu acho, peraí. Calma. Quem deu a bênção pra Diona não era uma fada? Ou não? Era a fada do lago, né? Aí, então aí.
The stories become something of a local legend.
Você disse que sim.
It's called the Lady
Ah, se eu disse, então eu tô certo. Eu espero ter lido certo. A mulher que observa o lago.
People now say that if you go down to the lakeside and play an instrument, so long as you play a pleasing melody, you will hear a fairy lady who is hiding out of sight, playing along with you.
Ok.
Wow.
É uma boa lenda.
Well, yes. As it stands now, it's become a touch too romantic and detached from reality. But I understand the original story and its historical grounding better
Tá do lado
than
do
anyone
Uma. Será
else.
que a Paima é uma
I
fada?
wanted to find out the truth of this tale. So I decided to retrace my ancestors' steps and search for that lady's modern-day descendants. Of course, there's no way of knowing where my ancestor fell into the lake all those years ago. So I always knew that the search would be akin to looking for a needle in a haystack.
Ele acabou de se entregar, hein? Aparentemente ele não escorregou e caiu ali. Ele foi se jogar pra ver se era o lago que o antepassado caiu. Ele tá testando de lago em lago. Ele anda uns 20 metros e se atira. Acho que é isso que ele tá fazendo
I've
aqui.
spent many years on the road now, and I'm nowhere near as fit as I was in my youth. The wish that I've spent half my life chasing after has now become something of an obsession.
Well, I haven't lived half of my life yet, but still, I understand how you must feel. Paimon too! It's like... imagine if you saved the center of a lotus flower crisp, which is the best part, by the way.
Nossa,
If
isso
you
é
wanted to
muito
eat it another day,
triste.
But then suddenly,
Nossa.
it falls into the water, never to be seen again!
Chat, nunca aconteceu de vocês estarem comendo algo e aí você está deixando a melhor parte pro final. O miolo do pão. Vocês estão comendo a borda do pãozinho de sanduíche, deixando o miolo pra última mordida. E aí vem, sei lá, tua mãe e pede uma mordida no final, assim.
Paimon would definitely remember that for the rest of her life.
Nossa.
There's no need to feel sorry for me. I've made some progress over the years. For example, I've concluded that the story must have taken place in Liyue.
Oh, so you finally found a lead?
Ok.
Yes, in fact, that's an intriguing story in and of it. I'd always known that Mondstadt is the city of song and freedom. But more recently, I heard that the Animal Archon returned to Mondstadt for a festival in the fall, and learned that he himself
Ó, ele falou
is a
do
patron
Vente aí,
deity of
hein?
music.
O Vente, aham.
So I prayed for the Animal Archon's guidance in the Mondstadt Cathedral, and as soon as I set foot back outside the front gate, I noticed a cluster of leaves being blown in the wind further and further west, towards Stone Gate.
Aham. Então, a sua pista são folhas.
A friendly local told me that this meant the wind was guiding me in the direction of Liyue. So I followed their advice and made my way here.
Enquanto ele tava lá na simbologia, vendo as folhas sendo sopradas pro oeste, o Vente estava caído na taverna do Diluc, desmaiado.
Right? You get it. I knew I'd find someone that agrees with me eventually.
Dante manda salve pra Aiki Kagami e CLPL.
Aiki, obrigado pelos 10 conto. Manda salve pra Aiki e Sally. Salve Aiki, salve Sally. É isso, né? Infelizmente a pessoa comprou meu salve, né? Pessoa quebrou a regra do salve comprando meu salve. É isso, né? Você disse salve. Mas bah.
Are you sure? It sounds a bit too much like one of those fake legends told by those treasure hoarder guys to scam gullible grannies from Jingsa Village.
Ok. O que as pessoas dizem pros famosos mandar salve? Cara, eu nunca entendi isso, mano. Eu realmente nunca entendi isso. Quer dizer, eu entendo o conceito por trás. A pessoa quer que a pessoa que ela tá assistindo interaja com ela de alguma forma. Só que eu acho que a pessoa não sabe como interagir. E aí ela pede um salve. É a forma padrão, é o padrão, assim. Tipo... Eu acredito que seja nessa linha de pensamento. Tipo... É tipo um oi. É tipo a pessoa um oi. Um abraço virtual. Oh, se pedisse um abraço virtual, eu dava. Principalmente as pessoas que são mais novas. As pessoas que estão chegando novas na live, elas costumam pedir salve porque elas não sabem muito bem o que falar. Eu acho que é mais ou menos por aí. Aí depois a pessoa, ela começa a ficar mais acostumada. Daí acho que ela perde isso porque ela começa a falar outras coisas. No lugar do... um quebra-gelo. Acho que essa é uma boa coisa, assim. Acho que é por aí. Manda um beijo virtual. Abraço. Abraço virtual. Abraçados. Estejam abraçados. Web abraço. Eu só parei de mandar salve por aquele motivo que vocês sabem, né? Porque se eu mando salve, o chat vira só manda salve. E porque as pessoas que ficam insistindo, geralmente elas pedem um salve, recebem um salve e vão embora pra outra live pedir salve. É os caça-salve. Aí por isso que eu parei de dar salve. Quero um abraço virtual. Manda socorro. Liga pra polícia.
Rex Lapis has returned to the world. Just give me some incense and a little mora towards the travel fees, and I will pass your gift on to the Lord of Geo and ask him to keep you and your family safe and well. And so on, and don't worry, Yao-Yao. We have a lot of experience with deciphering omens.
Tô falando, é o vente caído na taverna.
You only got scammed if you handed over Mora, right?
Actually, to express my gratitude, I did spend rather a lot of mora on several bottles of fine wine, which I left at the statues of the Seven along the way.
Ah.
Oh dear. Well, how about this, ladies and gentlemen? Why don't I bring you all to Yujing Terrace to see Miss
Pelo menos o Vente gostou, né? Pelo menos o Vente gostou.
I don't know very many people, so I can't help you out much. But Miss Ganyu and the Qixing know just about everything. If you've been scammed, they'll help you get your Mora back. And if the wind was telling the truth, and you want to keep looking for that lady's family, they'll be the best people to ask.
Se o vento estava dizendo a verdade, o que vocês estão falando, mano?
But you've already helped me so much.
O que vocês estão falando? Que assunto é
I was
esse?
gonna take some new medicinal herbs and plants I picked to Miss Ganyu anyway, so it's no trouble at all.
Ok.
You know what? It's been a minute since we saw Ganyu too.
Eba, vamos ignorar completamente a quest do Zong e vão pra outro lugar?
All right. Well, my sincere thanks to you all. I will never forget your kindness.
Okay, everyone. Please follow me. I'll be your guide. Remember? Oh, Paimon's out of a job.
Confirmado.
Paimon will just
Temos
be a
TDAH no
cheerleader
jogo.
instead.
TDAH bateu forte aqui. Me senti representada, eu também. Eu li tudo e ainda tô amando. Ah, que bom. O Zong não tinha pressa? Vai ficar lá, né? Vai ficar lá escutando o Tião. Peguei a Yao Yao e a Hai estão com 10 tiros. Nice, Diego. Opa.
Liyue Harbor looks very
Ué, anoiteceu
different
do
from when I
nada?
came last. It's almost as if I'm listening to the same melody, but with a richer timbre and new variations added.
Well, we are here during Lantern Ride after all. It only comes once a year, so they always have a big celebration.
E...
It's fair to say that this time of year is when Liyue Harbor looks the prettiest.
Great. Let's go and check it out. I can't wait to get into the city and see it all up close for myself.
Seja bem-vindo, Noah. Seja bem-vinda.
Smiles and laughter everywhere I look. It's contagious.
Peraí. Aproveita e dá uma descansada depois da live. Relaxa. Se quiser ficar aqui, fique. Se quiser dormir, durma. Eu espero que essa live tenha sido maravilhosa. Você tá me seguindo, moço? Você tá me seguindo, moço? Segue aqui, então. Quero ver. Fui brincar e acabei sendo brinquedo, né? Beleza, vamos lá, vamos lá.
Smiles and laughter everywhere I look. It's contagious. I can almost feel the music in the air. I have the urge to start waving my conductors, but
tinha que ser o Dante. Ah.
Hi everyone. Fancy meeting you all here. What a nice surprise.
Eu já falei, vou repetir. Eu amo o sotaque dela na voz americana. Meu Deus.
Hello, Xinyan. Let me introduce some new friends. They are...
Ad. Que timing pro Ad, hein?
Traveler, Paimon, and Mr. Dvorak, right? I've known them all for quite a while.
When I was last here to advertise a LIYUE stop for the Iridescence tour, Xinyan was one of the few people willing to give me the time of day.
Well, feels like I've been chasing this Iridescence tour bandwagon halfway around the world, but I keep getting stood up. What's going on, Mr. Dvorak?
I'm so sorry, Xinyan. We've had a string of terrible luck recently, and every time we've tried to put on a show, something or other has come up to stop our plans from materializing.
Is that right? I guess it can't be helped. So, what brings you to LIYUE Harbor at this time of year anyway? Thinking of putting on a music festival during the Lantern Rite celebration?
A Lantern Rite music festival?
Sim. Yes, please. Yes, please.
No, I'm actually here on personal business this time.
Oh, so no Lantern Rite music festival?
Oh, vai ter sim. Vai ter sim, eu vi no trailer.
I mean, that's not just up to me. Hosting a music festival takes a lot of funding and personnel.
A Linguang financia.
Moreover, I've never worked with the LIYUE
O
authorities
Kazuha
before.
trabalha.
Even if I were to start putting something together right now,
Eu ia dizer Beidou, mas ela mandaria o Kazuha fazer.
Wait, but we're going to meet the LIYUE Qixing, aren't we? And they're the ones in charge. Uh-huh, that's right. Miss Keqing and Miss Ningguang can make anything happen.
A pior parte é que essa frase é 100% certa. Tipo, literalmente. Eu ainda não ensaiei. Ah, tem que ensaiar.
you mean
Vai no improviso.
what?
Vocês estão dizendo o quê?
This is the perfect opportunity! Well, sure, it might not work out, but it can't hurt to bring it up as a suggestion.
Eba, seria algo diferente. Seria um grande sucesso.
That's the spirit! See, even the Traveler agrees with me. Mr. Dvorak, don't let yourself be put off by the fact that a few things haven't worked out recently. As for the performers, I can put you in touch with some local artists.
Como ela?
My friend Yunjin is a well-known opera singer in LIYUE. With her support and a commissioned song from the Yunhan Opera Troupe, we should be able to get something going.
Olha que modesta. Ela nem se coloca em primeiro lugar na hora de sugerir uma cantora, uma musicista. Ah, mas não vai.
What do you take me for? If we actually managed to make the Iridescence Tour Lantern Rite Grand Concert a reality, you think I'd let anyone else perform the opening act?
Wow, there's that rock and roll spirit.
What do you say, Mr. Dvorak?
Okay. I'll give it a shot. But the opening act is not something to be chosen lightly, Xinyan. I will judge your work by the strictest of standards, so please make sure you are fully
Vai
prepared.
tirar de letra.
Are you kidding? I thought you'd never ask. Whew, guess my shopping time's getting cut short. I'm gonna head back right away and start working on this. Yao Yao, if you run into your senior on the way to the Qixing, please send her my regards.
Okay, I promise I will. Good luck with your music, Xinyan. You've got this, Xinyan.
Mano, protagonista apenas, né? Protagonista apenas.
Is that anyone we know? Yes, it's Xiangling. She's mentioned you two before. Xiangling's always thinking about cooking. Whenever she gets scrapes or burns, she just leaves them to heal by themselves. She
Gente,
definitely needs someone around her to look after her.
eu Zhongli.
I know you must have looked out for her a lot too in the time you've known her. So, thank you for that.
Olha, Madame Ping! Quanto tempo?
Oh, it's Master! Is it okay if I go and say hi to her?
Claro.
Oh, calm down now, dear. I'm not about to run off anywhere. I'm not a bundle of energy like you.
I haven't seen you in days, Master!
Master?
I miss you.
Oh.
Oh, bless you, Yao Yao. You do say the sweetest things. Ah, look who it is. Visiting friends during the lantern ride, are we?
Ah, saudações, Madame
You're half right, Madam
Ping.
Ping. We were also trying to help out Mr. Dvorak over here. We were on our way to take him to see the Qixing.
Hello, ma'am. I am a musician from
Agora é uma
and the
ma'am.
organizer of the
Agora faz
Iridescence tour.
sentido.
I don't suppose you've heard of it.
Master! The Iridescence Tour is a super famous music festival.
Oh, an old lady like me wouldn't know much about that sort of thing. A music festival,
Okay.
you say? It sounds terribly exciting.
Se pudéssemos organizar festival de música no Ritual das
Madam
Lanternas.
Ping, how would you feel about that? You're an elder of Liyue, and you know all about Liyue's cultural
Você é uma
traditions.
anciã de
Your
LIYUE.
thoughts would definitely help us figure out how best to approach it. For example, do you think it might be a bit too modern, or is there any other issue?
Why, not at all. Music pays homage to history and culture, and it can also be a bridge between different
Música é a linguagem
civilizations.
universal, né, mano?
Times change, and the music enjoyed by the youngsters of today is no doubt very different from the tunes I was accustomed to in my youth. Nevertheless, all fine things in life can be appreciated.
Vamos fingir que ela não é uma Adeptus. A gente tava conversando com um deus alguns minutos atrás. A gente já esqueceu desse deus, inclusive. Já esquecemos dele.
And so, I look forward to it immensely.
Hear, hear. I do believe that, my own dear grandmother aside, you are the wisest old lady I've ever met.
Goodness gracious, you're all being suspiciously sweet today. Yao Yao, whatever have you been feeding them?
Oxi.
Master, you're in such a great mood today. You're even cracking jokes with the rest of us.
Oh, well, I'm sure you must have plenty to be getting on with, yes? Run along now. Don't...
Thanks, Madam Ping. We'll see you again soon.
Ok, ok. A gente muito bom. Procure a Ganil perto do terraço. Beleza. Tá, a gente foi coletar brotos de bambu. A gente decidiu ajudar o maluco a ir até LIYUE. A gente decidiu fazer um negócio musical. E a gente agora tá indo conversar pra conseguir permissão dos Qixin. Estamos fazendo um tour, né, basicamente. Virou band. Mas é o Zoro, Dante, igual você ensinou. Ah, bom! É fofo como a Yao Yao chama ela de mestre, sim. Meu Deus. Se a gente é um Isekai, tipo uma Navi de Avatar. Eu não assisti Avatar 2, Victor, mas pode ser, mano. Nada impede da gente ser um avatar aí de outro mundo. A gente é de outro mundo, né? De qualquer jeito. Ganilzinha. Oi, Ganil.
I've brought all the medicine you asked me to pick for you. Oh, and here's a pack of sweet flower seeds as well. Also, these dried Jingshin leaves make a great pot of tea that's very good for you.
Nossa, a Yao Yao é realmente
I know
prestativa.
you've had a lot to deal with at work recently, but you shouldn't push yourself too hard. If you're not careful, you'll end up
Ela
falling
fez o
asleep in the
Akaranai.
grass again.
Ela fez o Akaranai. A pose conhecida como Akaranai, ela fez.
Well, this is weird. It's like a responsible younger sister talking to their disorganized older sister.
Tem que aproveitar a animação, né? Tem que aproveitar a animação. Tem que economizar dinheiro, a empresa. Economizar, tá ruim.
Thank you, but Paimon's criticism is quite valid. I do have a tendency to neglect matters outside of work, and that's something I should
Tá
improve on.
faltando dinheiro.
Oh, my apologies. I don't believe we've been introduced.
Paimon will do the honors.
Ok.
What's wrong? Did Paimon go over everything a bit too fast? It's definitely an ambitious plan. If there's anything you didn't quite catch, Paimon's more than happy to go over
Ih,
it
que
again.
que houve? Não gostou, Ganil?
It may be a little difficult to make this happen.
Mas não impossível.
Oh?
Well, the Lantern Rite is the most important festival of the year. Our celebrations must not only be visually spectacular, but also appeal to the tastes of Liyue citizens from all walks of life.
Mas a Shinya agrada o gosto de todo
The
mundo.
Iridescence Tour is relatively
Estão
unknown.
sobrevivendo de miojo e
It's difficult to
água.
predict how a brand new show will be received.
Chat, gastem no Genshin. Senão DanteWill vai poder... DanteWill vai passar o próximo mês apenas com pão dormido e água.
It would be quite risky for us to bet everything on this one music festival.
All very valid points. I completely understand.
Therefore, we will not replace or
E
cancel
o
any
Hotel
of our
7
pre-existing
Estrelas.
program. However, I will submit a proposal requesting to put the Iridescence Tour special performance as the final act of this year's festivities. The live music will certainly add to the festive atmosphere on the night of the Lantern Rite. As for the venue, let's reserve a space at the docks.
Ok. Para não acabarmos tirando os holofotes de outra pessoa, mas ainda assim terminamos a noite em
Yes.
alta.
My thoughts precisely.
Os holofotes de outra pessoa? Como assim?
Now I just need to take some time to give this proposal some polish. As long as I
Okay.
clearly lay out the pros and cons, and highlight the key points of the proposal, given that Ping and the Traveler have both given the idea their blessing, I'm confident that Qixing will be sure to give it serious consideration.
É moral, né?
Mr. Dvorak,
Ó,
I
se a
will need to
Madame
discuss
Ping
with you
falou,
the
tá
number of
falado.
musicians who will be coming to Liyue,
Não
as well as
existe
their
um ser em
catering and
LIYUE que vai
accommodation
discutir com a
requirements.
Madame Ping.
Oh, yes, certainly. Let's step to the side and discuss further.
Eu acho que eu não tô nem exagerando nessa frase. Eu acho que eu falei num tom de brincadeira, mas que nem acho que é real.
As soon as
Tá
they
vendendo
break
almoço
you,
pra comprar janta, o pobre DanteWill.
I couldn't agree more.
Alguém melhor que a Shinya? Desconheço.
Master once said that everyone has things that they are good at and things that they are less good at. So, with that in mind, Ganyu shouldn't feel compelled to become perfect at absolutely everything. I'm good at taking care of people, so that can be left to me. Wow. Hey, Yo-Yo, can you take care of Paimon too?
Yao Yao, se você é tão prestativa, o que você tava fazendo nos últimos 2 rituais de lanterna? Só pra mim saber.
I'm afraid my backpack's empty now, but if you let me know what you like, I can bring you some of your favorite dishes next time we meet. Apart from lotus flower crisps, what else do you like?
Ela tava buscando
And anything
coisa.
that's made from slimes.
Ninguém em sua consciência duvida da Ping, nunca. Tem a
Here's what I've
Rutal.
drafted so far.
É
Anything else
verdade,
you want
mas
to
a
add?
Rutal é caos.
No, this is excellent. I'm racking my brains, but I don't think you've missed a single thing.
Nascendo.
Perfect. Then we'll leave it as
Confirmado,
is.
Yao Yao tem
I'll
1
go
ano
make
de
an official
vida.
copy. Oh, perfect timing. We were just wrapping up our discussion here. Not at all. Every second counts for a complex proposal such as this. I will inform the Qixing of this development immediately. Please give me a moment to pass on the message.
Tá bom.
Yao Yao, thank you for bringing my herbs. I will make sure to
Você
take
não
them.
quer que eu só coloque elas no time e aí você pergunta que não? Porque elas estão aqui no meu time. Eu posso adicionar elas.
Tea from them first, Ganyu. You mustn't just chew them raw.
I will.
Ok.
Okay, I should be getting back. If Yao-Yao stays out for too long, Mom and Dad will be worried sick.
Ela tem mãe e pai, olha que coisa.
Everyone, I'm sure that the music festival will go off without a hitch, so don't worry. And in case I don't see you before, I wish you all a very happy Lantern Rite.
Thank you, Yao Yao. Happy Lantern Rite to you, too.
We should go get dinner together sometime.
E quem não tem? A Kiki não tem. A Sayu não tem. A Klee só tem uma mãe até o momento. Eu acho. Se bem que o Albedo tá fazendo... Não, o Albedo faz o papel de irmão mais velho, na verdade. Espere pacientemente por 2 horas. Aquele pacientemente sempre esteve ali. Tipo, isso de esperar pacientemente... Eu não lembro de ter lido isso em algum outro momento do jogo. Exatas 2 horas, ó. Pontual.
Greetings, traveler. Paimon,
Pacientemente.
and Mr. Dvorak. Call me Kuching.
Oh, Kiking! Kiching!
Ganyu has brought me up to speed on everything. I'll get straight to the point.
Vazou que a Madame Ping manteve a Yao em cativeiro no bullying.
Já tá me obrigado pelo conto, é verdade, né? A Madame Ping colocou a Yao Yao dentro de um bully e deixou lá. Esqueceu. Esqueceu a Yao Yao no bully. Só lembrou semana passada.
The Qixing have approved Ganyu's proposal.
Cadê a paciência?
For the next few
Você não foi
days, I will be
paciente.
working with Mr. Dvorak
Não,
on behalf
infelizmente
of the
não.
Qixing to facilitate the organization of this concert.
Nossa, imagina se você realmente tivesse que tipo, se esperar pacientemente fosse realmente ficar parado ali por 2 horas. Nossa.
Yay! That's awesome!
E que King ataca novamente.
Please. The Qixing have a duty to deal with matters such as these. We have merely moved things forward to the next step. On a more personal note, I am an avid supporter of all things new and innovative. As such, it is my privilege to work with you on this exciting project.
Peraí, o Festival das Lanternas já não tá rolando?
Thank you so much, Kuching.
Tipo, ele não tá rolando esse exato... Tem lanternas lá atrás. Tipo, ele tá rolando. E a gente tá decidindo um negócio... O tema do negócio... Tipo, a atração principal extremamente em cima da hora.
I'd become quite discouraged after our recent failures and was expecting the same outcome once again, so...
Tá,
I didn't
é
dare
tipo
to get my hopes
Natal?
up.
Ah, entendi. É as luzinhas de novembro, né?
Never in my wildest dreams could I have imagined this going so smoothly. It's like a dream come true.
Segue o roteiro. É preparo, estão montando as barraquinhas. Entendi.
Right. Time for me to call in the performers. To stage a concert at a high-profile event like this is a rare opportunity. We'll make sure it's a night to remember.
Do nada. Com o brother que a gente encontrou se afogando.
Yes! Our music band's finally getting fired up!
Encontramos um brother se afogando e do nada mudamos todo o tema do festival de LIYUE.
Yes, indeed. I know exactly what I'm doing from here. For a musician, music will always be the language they are most fluent in. Oh, that.
É a fada.
That can wait for another time.
Ah, tá, pô.
Oh,
Oh.
Ganyu? What's wrong?
They told me all about Mr. Dvorak's situation, but I was so engrossed in drafting the proposal that I forgot all about it.
Eu também, sinceramente. Eu fiquei tão encantado com a história dele que eu esqueci.
Oh, that's quite all right. I don't even know what the person I'm trying to find looks like, so it was always going to be a long shot. Don't worry about me, Ganyu. Your time and energy are needed elsewhere. I'm sure you already have plenty to deal with between this concert and everything else going on during the Lantern Rite.
Thanks. It was just that I had a few initial thoughts when I heard your story. For instance, I wonder if this lady your ancestor met might have been an Adeptus. What do you think?
É a Madame Ping jovem.
To tell you the truth, Mr. Dvorak, I am somewhat related to the Adepti myself. I am part human and part Qilin. The Qilin is an illuminated beast. I know how important your quest to get in touch with your roots must be to you.
A mulher era o Goba na praia.
Trying to find out where I belonged.
Did you say the Adepti? And you're illuminated beast? Part Qilin? Are you telling me all the rumors of the LIYUE Adepti are real? So it's not just artistic license?
Rumores dos adeptos de LIYUE são reais. Caraca, mano. Era Oceanide, com certeza. Nada impede.
There's nothing specifically stopping you from going there, but getting in and out of there is quite an ordeal.
Yes. Anyway,
era você.
If you're looking to uncover a lost melody or shine light on a forgotten aspect of Leo's cultural history,
era Columbina. Era Columbina na beira da praia.
But if it's a person you're looking for, then I just might be able to help.
I see. I think I understand the situation now. In that case, Ganyu, shall we divide the work between us?
Yes. That was also my thought.
Great. So Mr. Dvorak and I will concentrate on things here in the city to make sure the concert goes according to plan. In the meantime, Ganyu will reach out to our network and try to find the person he's looking for. How's your workload at the moment? Will you be able to make...
I can probably get through everything in 2 days, as long as I don't sleep.
Parece... Literalmente eu fazendo vídeo preparando o Dante. Literalmente eu aqui, ó.
Wait, what do you mean as long as I don't sleep? Even for someone with illuminated beast blood in their veins, working for such an extended period without
Pensei nisso quando apareceu.
Somehow that does not sound persuasive coming from Kuching.
Be it but 3 moons from the start, he who returns is not he that departs. Even I know the importance of maintaining a healthy work-life balance.
Fique.
In that case, 3 days.
All right, I can work with that.
If you have the time, would you join me for this search? You're well known to many of the Adepti and respected among the people. I'll feel much more at ease with your company. Okay, then let's meet back here in 3 days.
Watch this space, Mr. Dvorak. We'll get to the bottom of this.
Beleza.
You're all so helpful and kind. I just
think. Imagine if we found the Adeptus lady or one of her descendants and got them to come to the performance.
Sem meme, sem meme.
Wouldn't that be amazing?
A menos que eles tirem um Adeptus novo, que não seria a primeira vez eles tirar um Adeptus novo do nada. Eu acho que pode ser a Madame Ping jovem. Se for um antepassado, Madame Ping é velha. Era uma moça.
It'd be such a happy reunion, and that's exactly what this festival's all about.
Não consigo pensar numa moça velha que não seja... Ela levantou adeptos, a menos que eu esteja esquecendo de alguém. Meu chute tá nela.
You're right. Okay, I'm gonna pull out all the stops to make this Lantern Rite a true extravaganza.
We should probably get going. Mr. Dvorak, could you come with me to confirm the site?
Ooh, we're coming too!
I was wondering, what are your thoughts on
Vamos, obrigado pelo Prime. Valeuzão.
Music sounds nice?
Colomina confirmado.
Truth be told, the question of what music means to people is one that I've been pondering for quite some time.
Pode ser a mãe da Yanfei. Não, pera. Não, era o pai da Yanfei que eram adeptos, né? Não era a mãe.
Lady Yuhang?
Baiwen, what is it?
Per Lady Ningguang's orders, I've been gathering intelligence outside of the city with the goal of uncovering and dispatching any trouble ahead of the festival. I am told that a strange melody was heard somewhere along the coast. I was wary of investigating further on my own, so I was just on my way to report this, but I'm worried that if we don't act right away, we may miss the window of opportunity to take appropriate action.
I understand. In that case,
Yeah, Kuching. You're busy enough as it is. There's a ton of different things
O Vente tá nesse festival, eu vi no teaser.
Don't worry. Whatever it is, we'll definitely be able to handle it.
With the Traveler on the case, it's as good as dealt with. Thank you. This will be a great help. I will inform Lady Ningguang about the situation. Once it's resolved, please come and find me again at Yujing Terrace and...
Will do! And say hi to Ningguang for us!
you have my thanks too. Stay safe and come back as soon as you're finished.
Good luck.
E aquela garça ali atrás? Que garça é essa mesmo? Não é retentora, né? Se a retentora tivesse uma forma humana, eu também poderia chutar que era ela. É um adeptus... É um outro adeptus, né? Cada festival eles cultuam adeptos diferentes, é a impressão minha. Porque eu lembro que no primeiro festival era um adeptus servo, né? Não era o cortador de... Não era o cavador de montanhas, mas era um outro servo. Acho que todo festival eles cultuam adeptos antigos diferentes. Acho que é igual no novo chinês, que todo ano tem um animal. Acho que todo ano ele... Ah, faz sentido, né? Não tô louco, né? Acho que faz sentido.
Byron said the strange tune was coming from around here, right? But Paimon doesn't hear anything. There doesn't seem to...
I was just wondering who in their right mind would come out to a place like this. So, it's you two.
Elan? Você toca música, Elan? Que isso?
Yeon! How'd you sneak up on us like that? You nearly gave Paimon a heart attack!
Achei que apareceu o Vente.
Me. Can't have spooked you that bad.
Fair enough.
Fair enough.
Ah, you're here for that too? Saves me a bit of explaining. Come with me.
Ah, ainda pode ser o Vente. Acho que a live caiu. Eu acabei de pisar no fio do roteador e o roteador foi pro chão. Mas se a live ainda tá viva, eu não vou encostar nele pra botar de volta no lugar. Ups. Ah, o fio tava no lugar errado. Te informo que você tem um ótimo roteador. Como tu fez isso? Tinha um fio. Eu acho que era o fio que ligava ele na caixinha da parede. Ele tava meio... no lugar onde eu costumo balançar meus pés. E aí eu balancei e pisei. Sem querer.
The stuff by the door is in pretty good condition, though. It can't have been too long ago that someone was last living here.
Como se alguém estivesse vivendo aqui. Nossa, me perdi na explicação. O roteador me desnorteou. Adi, eu espero. Acabou? Voltou? Beleza. O roteador tá forte. Pois é, eu me surpreendi que não caiu a internet.
How strange. It looks like it's been looted, except for the fact that there's no sign of a struggle.
Okay.
Bad guys could have sneaked in while the owner was gone, but Then how do you explain why the door and windows are intact?
Seems you've done a pretty thorough inspection. So, any theories on what might have happened here?
Yelan, you didn't hide some of the evidence from us on purpose, did you?
Que isso?
Why would I make this more difficult for you? We're on the same side here.
Que isso, do nada?
Paimon gives up then. Paimon's got nothing.
What about you? Give up as well?
Deve ter algo a ver com aquela
Your
melodia.
instincts are pretty good. Or perhaps it's not instinct. The strange melody is one of the few pieces of information you have available after all. Let me share a folk story with you.
Oh, meu Deus. Outra.
A long time ago, there used to be a group of bandits in the LIYUE countryside who would sound a horn every time they were about to raid a village.
Ah.
But it wasn't a rallying cry to rouse their fellow men. It was a disconcerting tune, meant to intimidate the weak and warn them of their impending
Então a
doom.
Dama do Lago era a Bayer. Aquela criminosa lá do machado que eu esqueci o nome.
To escape with their lives, the villagers would abandon their homes and flee overnight, taking only their most valuable belongings with them. Everything else was left behind. The bandits were eventually brought to justice.
Baller.
But the fear and trauma remained in the villagers' hearts. Whenever they heard that melody, they would feel like their lives were in danger once again, and flee immediately. The culprit of this crime exploited that very fear to get access to this house without having to force their way in.
Whew. That's quite the story.
The victims obviously will have gotten quite a fright, but at least they won't be in any great danger. The important thing now is to find this copycat criminal.
Se usarmos a
On
visão
any other day,
elemental.
that'd probably be a good idea. Unfortunately, it's not gonna work today.
Por quê?
Take a look around and you'll see what I mean. This criminal is clearly well-versed both in using music to commit crimes and in making a clean
Que
getaway.
crime ele cometeu? Eu não
Not
entendi
only
até
did they stay
agora.
off the muddy road to avoid leaving footprints, it
Eu
looks
me
like they were
perdi
also
em que
careful
crime
not
ele
to bring any
cometeu. Ele não
gadgets
só
with so
tocou
much as a trace of
música.
elemental energy. Evidently, unfortunately for them, I'm one of the
Ele
best
invadiu
judges in
a
the business.
casa.
They're not about to get away with their little scheme on my watch.
So basically, if we want to find the culprit...
A casa foi assaltada. Ele tocou a melodia pra invadir a casa. Entendi. Foi o Xiao.
As long as you can keep up. Since the culprit's trying to be cautious and low risk, I'll bet they left through an area with some vegetation for cover, but not so much that it would slow them down.
É lógico, pô. Ele pode se teleportar pra dentro da casa e vazar. Por que ele faria isso? Aí você tá fazendo perguntas demais, né? Tá aqui, Mimir. Boa noite, boa noite. Relaxa. Quem tá aí no Mimi, relaxa. A gente se vê amanhã na live do Toshi, ou na minha live, se eu abrir live, ou na segunda-feira, horário normal aqui na Twitch. Lembrando que se eu abrir amanhã vai ser no YouTube.
Their pace has increased. Normally, people carrying a heavy load slow down as their journey goes on and they start to tire.
Tá bom,
Must be psychological.
Ô Gerald de Rivia, entendi que você consegue ver os rastros no chão. Pode seguir adiante, por favor? Obrigado. Esse chão é feito de chão.
Look! A treasure hoarder tent!
Olha aí.
Not the treasure hoarders again! And so close to Lantern Ride, too! 'Tis not the season for their antics!
Come on, let's round them up.
Muito bom. Por que todo mundo tá verde? Eu não sei porque às vezes a cor do que aparece na tela não condiz com a cor das pessoas no chat. Eu acho que é porque ele só detecta um certo número de cores. E aí ele Quando tem uma cor diferente, ele taca pra outra, sei lá, não sei. Não entendo por que isso acontece.
Hey.
Ah, entendi. Entendeu, chat? Ele roubou a casa e depois fugiu. Tá.
The evidence is conclusive. Okay, confess and we'll go easy on you. My patience is running low, so why don't you do us both a favor,
You kidding me? You think I'm scared of you?
Eu gosto como as pessoas ignoram as visões. As desgraças das visões. Amigo! Ela tem uma visão, amigo!
Perhaps not, but you should be.
Eu vou realmente lutar com o Fujing, o músico perdido. Essa é a minha luta do dia. Inclusive me deram uma Elan, não sei quantos? Isso é 3 ainda. Isso é realmente desnecessário.
After all, there's no going back now. Better up my game. You're open. You're open.
Não, eu tô humilhando ele. Relaxa.
Mercy.
A gameplay mais emocionante de Genshin.
Oh, it's a little late for that. I've come this far, I might as well finish the job.
I surrender! I surrender, please! I'll do whatever you say. Please have mercy.
Ganhou players. Eis que ganhou players decidem usar outro personagem.
You have one chance, and I'm warning you. Don't make me ask twice.
I won't, I swear. You know, so Lantern Right's nearly here, and like a lot of people, I wanted to buy a few nice things. I know I'm with the treasure hoarders and everything, but I don't really have any kind of experience with robbing people and whatnot. So I don't have the guts to break into somebody's house.
Wow, you're really going to complain to us about that?
No, not at all. I'm just
Tadinho.
telling it how it is.
Okay, continue.
I racked my brains trying to think of what I could do, and eventually, I remembered something from back when I was a kid. The bandits would blow their horn, and my grandma would grab us kids and run. I remember the tune, so I figured I'd try it for myself. I mean, just to see what would happen. At first, anyway, I seriously didn't expect that family to pack up and leave. But they did. And they just left all their stuff right there for the taking. It was too easy. I couldn't resist.
O cara achou hack.
It was completely wrong of me. I know that now. I'll return everything that I took. It's all still in perfect condition, and it'll be like it was never gone. Please, give me a chance, huh? Let me make it right.
Give you a chance, huh? Sounds to me like you'd rather strike some kind of a deal than spend Lantern Right behind bars.
Yes? Yes?
You know how to bargain, I'll give you that. It's just a pity that you didn't confess at the first opportunity. You'll have to take a walk with me. Once we've returned the goods, we'll find the owner of the house, and you can apologize to them in person. After that, I'll escort you to the Ministry of Civil Affairs.
Oof.
Yes, ma'am.
You know, as a former victim of this kind of crime yourself, I doubt anyone understands the fear you inflicted quite as well as you do. Does your greed matter more to you than your fear? More to the point, if you can play a tune from memory, don't you think you should be capable of making an honest living?
Ela tem um ponto.
You mean...
Já pensou em tocar flauta na rua?
That's enough hints for you. You'll have plenty of time to reflect on all of this yourself. There's not much left to wrap up, so I'll take it from here. Guess this is where I'll say goodbye.
Ei, bom trabalho.
What is it? Is there something else?
I'm still not sure how you first got your hands on this information, so play it safe when you get back. Don't mention to anyone that you ran into me out here.
O broto de bambu não era pra ser colhido fresco, já fazem uns 2 dias, caraca! Manda a
You
gente...
helped a lot with the investigation and arrest anyway, so it's perfectly fair for you to get all the credit. Just take it. It works better for me too.
Chat, ela realmente fez isso aqui do nada.
See you when I see you. And happy Lantern Rite.
Yelan's such a pro at this. With her taking it from here, it's as good as resolved.
Eu fiquei em choque. Fiquei em choque aqui, dona. Eu até esqueci o que eu tava falando. Qual era o ponto mesmo? Ah, é, até eu esqueci do Zhongli.
Whoosh! Random event, a strange melody, complete.
Evento aleatório, uma melodia estranha concluída.
It's kind of a shame that we never got that treasure hoarder guy to play the melody again.
Mas tem curiosidade.
Right? How could anyone not be? When we were chatting with Mr. Dvorak, music seemed like such a positive thing. And most music is, right? It can help us relax, feel all warm and fuzzy, recall happy memories, or even just think happy thoughts.
Vocês querem relembrar memórias felizes? Apenas meio segundo de pianinho.
Oh, really? Huh. Makes sense. Paimon's musical understanding improves again. Well, anyway.
Achei que ia acabar a live. Pensei que ia tocar Despacito. Meu Deus, ok. Não. Ainda não fiz o favor de botar o Despacito no meu stream deck. Vai estender? Estender? Ah. Caraca, já são 10 pra meia-noite. Tô muito longe? Tá na primeira parte ainda.
That's great news. Oh, please wait here a moment if you would be so kind. Lady Ningguang instructed me to advise her upon your return.
Meu Deus. Tem mais 2 atos, esse é só o primeiro.
My greetings to both of you.
Ningguang!
No need to be so formal with us, Ningguang. We've known each other for a long time now. You must be super busy with all the preparations for Lantern Rite. Don't mind that.
Tirou a skin do ano passado.
I think it is those that I have known longest to whom I should extend the greatest courtesies.
Não vai usar a roupa não, Ningguang.
Alas, on a different day, I would invite both of you inside for some tea and a brief respite from your travels. But you're quite right. Trivial matters aside, there's no escaping the fact that we have a grand concert to organize. Once the performance itself is over, we'll then need to invite the representatives of the Iridescence Tour for a discussion on future collaboration opportunities. Simply put, there will always be work to do.
Whoa, you're already thinking that far ahead?
Well, we can discuss more current affairs if you'd prefer. I trust you saw this year's Mingxiao lantern at the docks when you arrived at the city?
Vi.
Yeah, it looked like a goose. Which adeptus is it modeled
Ganso.
Sea gazer. I believe you're familiar with the name.
Observador do oceano. Nome familiar? Não.
Legend holds that he was free-spirited and easygoing. People described him as a cheerful soul and a loyal friend.
Peraí, ele não é aquele daquela quest lá? Não, né? Ou era? Aquele Adeptus lá... Não. Não, aquilo lá não era Adeptus, aquilo era um Yaksha.
On this marvelous lantern rite, we pray that the fallen heroes may be guided home.
É, aquele era o pardal de bronze, é.
If the sound of music can flow like the rivers and streams into every corner of the land, perhaps the souls of those who have gone before us will hear the song of a new era.
Oh, they're gonna love them. I'm sure of it. At least, if the guy you mentioned is anything to go by, the Adepti and heroes of the past sound like a positive and free
O da Xinyi, da quest da Xinyi. Mano, eu não tô lembrado desse da quest da Xinyi. Parece que a gente pegou a pedra da quest da Xinyi. Cara, não tô lembrado disso.
Well, let's hope so. I heard that you'll be going on a search with Ganyu to find the descendants
Uma palavra com 5 letras. Ganyu.
From a Fontaine legend. I'm sure this quest to uncover the truth behind an ancient story will turn into a most charming tale. Do share it with me, won't you? I couldn't bear to miss out.
Dante, estende a live por 5 horas pra terminar o evento. Claro. Tô indo já. Pode deixar. Só isso? Quer mais nada, não? Que tal um Donaton de 12 horas, sem o Donaton? Opa, liberou, hein? Cintilações adiantes, teatro de papel, vigilância do mar nos bastidores. Yao Yao e um Jin Beidou e Elan. Ok. Tá, esse foi o primeiro dia. Dá pra fazer o começo. Dá pra fazer o começo. Deixa só eu pegar... Que eu tô com uma fominha. Deixa eu só pegar meu saco de amendoins ali rapidinho. Que sim, ele ainda existe. Eu não venci ainda. É 1 quilo de amendoim. Sim, lembra que eu comprei isso aqui pra comer no Donaton? Eu comi mais um pouquinho depois disso também, mas não deu pra vencer. Você quer amendoim, chat? Eu vou fazer só o começo, relaxa. Faz o barco agora. Não, o barco eu vou fazer por último. Os minigames eu deixo por último. Faço o comecinho. A gente faz até 00:30. Pode ser? Até 00:30. Ganil dormindo. Eu acho que alguém mentiu e não dormiu os 2 dias, hein?
Greetings, Traveler and Paimon. What time is it?
Are you okay, Ganyu? You were nodding off there. Didn't you sleep well last night?
Não vou conseguir ver até 00:30. Relaxa, depois isso aqui vai pro YouTube.
I'm fine. Don't
Sempre que
worry
vocês
about me.
perderem uma coisa aqui, vocês podem rever no YouTube.
Since last time, I've been thinking a lot about the story Paimon told me. In essence, someone rescued a drowning man and performed some music.
Sleep well?
If that were all there was to it, it could have been many people, human or Adeptus. But the tune was allegedly so wonderful that the drowning man forgot about everything else, even his own impending death, and only came to his senses after
Ganil,
being
eu
brought
já
to
ouvi essa
shore.
história, tá?
Perhaps there was an adeptal power at work in that music that he, as a mortal, could not perceive. Or perhaps he sensed a power surrounding him but lacked the words to describe it, not knowing where it came from. Either way, if this part of the story is true, then the rescuer has to have been an Adeptus.
You really think so? But this story is all the way from Fontaine. Isn't this a bit of a long shot? Also, Paimon's really curious about how people from Fontaine think this fairy lady looked.
Talvez eles até imaginaram tendo asas. Talvez eles até deram chifres. Bom, se é uma fada, tem que ter asas, né?
Like a crystal fly's wings? That would be pretty cool. Actually, Ganyu, if you had to save a drowning person, how would you go about it?
Huh? Me? Well, I'd get them to the shore, and then I'd probably hide behind a tree and watch them for a while. Once I was sure that they were going to be okay, I'd slip away without a sound.
Que fofa!
Got it. So basically, Ganyu's the type of
Se
person who
hidrata.
doesn't like
Pode
taking
deixar.
credit for her good deeds.
Bebendo leite pra ficar acordada porque energético me faz dormir e leite acordar. Caraca. Diferente.
No, it's not like that. I'm just not very good at explaining things. And I also find it really awkward accepting other people's gratitude.
Well, what if this Adeptus in the story had a similar attitude? That would explain why she just left without saying a word.
Pode
She
ser.
was probably thinking something like, one was merely passing by and saw fit to address this egregious disruption to one's graceful zithering at once. You may keep your thanks to yourself.
That was actually a very good impression of Cloud Retainer, Paimon.
Yeah.
As far as I'm aware, Cloud Retainer isn't the most musically gifted. Still, we can't completely rule her out.
Eu achei que ela tava imitando a Madame Ping.
If we set off now, we could head to Mount Outsung and ask her about it. You'll be able to confirm either way if it's her, and I can... I've been in Liyue Harbor for so long now that I'm just not as familiar with the Adepti anymore. If there's anything we want to know about them, she's the best person to ask.
Mas ela falou, caraca, nossa, buguei.
Sounds great! And we're pretty close with Cloud Retainer by now, so we probably don't even need to bring her food this time, right?
I've prepared a gift for her to mark the festival, just in case. Cloud Retainer spends most of her days studying mechanisms in her abode. She's on her own, so never mind. I promised I'd help Mr. Dvorak, and now that I've made the contract, I can't be having second thoughts. Traveler? Paimon?
Seems like this is a tough decision for Ganyu, but she's made up her mind now. Paimon gets why she'd be so anxious. Okay, how about this?
É verdade.
Start telling stories about her again this year. We should pipe up and change the topic. Wait, did she leave already? Hey, Ganyu, wait up!
Ok. Tomara que ela conte mais uma história. Tomara. Quero mais histórias constrangedoras da Ganyu.
Paimon's so tired from trying to keep up. Don't either of you need to take any breaks?
I can't believe it. Cloud Retainer is not
Ele
here.
viu no Você Sabia? Verdade.
Huh? Did we miss her?
She doesn't like to travel, so in the past, it's always been the other Adepti who come to visit her during the festivals.
Ela poderia estar em apuros?
Somehow Paimon doubts that anything could cause serious trouble for her.
True. Now that I think about it, Cloud Retainer would be quite capable of taking care of anything on her own. There's no need to worry about her.
Será?
Since she's not here, I guess the next step is to check all the other Adepti abodes, one by one.
Ela é tão poderosa assim?
Will it involve a lot more traveling? Got it!
Please go on, Paimon.
Our goal here is
Ideia.
to find the Adeptus that helped Dvorak's ancestor, right?
Aham.
We can't hear any music right now, but if she's really as nice as the story suggests, she'd definitely come to help anyone who was drowning, right?
Paimon. Você vai sugerir que a gente se afogue, Paimon?
Yes, I think that's fair to say.
So, all we have to do is get the Traveler to pretend to fall into the water, and the Adeptus will come to the rescue!
Minha reação honesta.
You know perfectly well that Paimon can't swim! Paimon would sink like a rock!
A Paimon realmente pensou em fazer o que o cara provavelmente estava fazendo. Tentando se afogar.
Just trust Paimon! The water's pretty deep over there! Quick, swim to the very center!
Por que vocês estão falando nós 50-50 bullet? Ah, música! A musiquinha de fundo. Verdade. Esqueci desse detalhe. Quer dizer, não percebi que era a música do negócio. A musiquinha de LIYUE que tava tocando é a mesma musiquinha de fundo daquela música Just pull the chi-chi, sabe? Aquela música de você perder os 50-50 pra Kiki. Que eu não vou conseguir cantar agora porque...
Help! Someone's drowning! If only there was a kind-hearted Adeptus here to save us! Oh no! Whatever will a Paimon do?
É isso, né?
What is going on? Meu Deus, que incrível. Esse é o Adeptus. Esse é certamente o Adeptus. Bem no ad. Nossa, bem no ad que é pra deixar as pessoas perdendo a cena, né? É incrível. Aparentemente, a mulher do lago é um Xiao. Ele tem idade pra ser, hein?
How do you feel right now?
Shenhe, and the Conqueror of Demons.
E o Conquistador de Demônios, porque é muito difícil falar Shou ou Xiao.
Why don't you say something? Please don't make Paimon explain it.
O cara rosnou pra gente. O Xiao disse asterisco, rosta pra você asterisco.
Okay, fine. Paimon will explain. We're looking for an Adeptus who's good at being a lifeguard and playing music.
Os slime. Que houve? Que isso?
But if the Adepti aren't gonna stay home, then how are we supposed to find them?
It wasn't me.
Yeah, so this Adeptus is most likely a woman.
And I am not an Adeptus, as you both already know, Traveler and Paimon.
Oops.
Okay, so this is Paimon's fault.
É.
No way Paimon would have suggested this idea if she'd known how awkward this was gonna be.
Pô, Paimon, era só pensar na ideia por mais do que 2 segundos.
Glad you're okay.
Não vai embora, Xiao. Me dá um
As far as I
abraço.
know, the one you seek is no Yaksha. And one last thing. Your actions here caused others a great deal of worry. Do not repeat them again in the future.
Ele se importa com a gente. Ele se importa. Olha que fofinho. Tsundere. 300% de tsundere.
As ever, the Conqueror of Demons comes and goes, just like the wind.
Right. I didn't dare to say a word just now.
A música. Chat a música. Chat a música. É.
How's your training going, Shenhe? Have you made any plans for Lantern Ride?
Não fiquem olhando muito pro background, tá? Olha pros personagens. Se olhar pro background, você pode acabar encontrando alguém parado lá no fundo. Sem rosto.
I had planned to spend the festival with Master this year. However...
Oh, speaking of Cloud Retainer, when did you see her last?
Earlier this morning. She set off for Mount Hulao at dawn. I noticed she was using an Adeptus art of some kind to protect a mechanism that looked like a boiler. Maybe
eu lembro desse mecanismo. Eu acho que eu lembro. A gente não fez isso no último Festival das Lanternas? Ou no... Uma coisa assim, que era pra catar os negócios, era pra manter os fornos não muito quente, não muito frio?
So we just missed her. Please excuse me for a moment. I think I'll leave the gift in her
Uns
room.
slime. Em sincronia e alinhados, né?
Sure. Thank you.
It sounds like Ganyu and Shenhe have gotten a lot closer recently.
Yes. During the summer and winter, I continue to train with Master. In the other months of the year, I have been learning to adapt to human life in LIYUE Harbor. Ganyu arranged accommodations for me in the city, and also recommended several work positions for me. But when I try to blend in by referring to her as Miss Ganyu or Lady Ganyu, like the others, she says I mustn't address her like that.
Chama de Gaga. Niu. Chama de Niu.
Sometimes
Chama de
I'm
Niu.
supposed to copy other people. Sometimes I'm not.
Slime só esperando a conversa acabar pra tentar te matar. GG, chama de GG.
Oh, is that what it is? Noted. So, you came looking for
Guard
Master
of
today
Ganga.
because you wanted to ask her about the Mystery Adeptus.
Yep. Oh, speaking of that, have you ever heard any music while out training in the mountains?
Music? What is that?
Que? Moça, tu tem CD nos olhos e não sabe o que é música.
It's a kind of a happy or relaxing sound.
Okay, I'm done.
Eu achei que ela estava olhando pros slimes.
We won't miss her again.
Por um segundo, eu achei que elas tinham reparado os slime e iam comentar sobre.
Yay! That's really helpful. Thanks.
We were just talking about this thing called music, and based on Paimon's description, I do believe I hear it every day. Please follow me.
Oh, really? Great, let's go!
E os bambu fresquinhos do Zong já apodreceram já.
The wind rises.
Já apodreceram já. Foram vocês que fizeram isso, não eu. Você comprou. Reembolsa meu VIP. Ai, ai, sem induzir a gente. Gaslight. O que é gaslight, mano? Gaslight, mano. Para de inventar palavra.
This is the place.
Que é gaslight, amor?
I enjoy training here to the sound of music.
Incriminar? Ah, tá. Acho que é alguma coisa assim mesmo. Ela vai dizer que o vento é a música, quer ver?
The faint sound of birdsong, the quiet murmur of the streams. These are relaxing sounds.
Quase acertei, hein?
Are they not the music of which you speak?
Oh, Paimon wasn't quite done with the description.
Em tese pode ser música, não pode? Pode ser considerada música.
It's all Paimon's fault. What we're looking for are not the sounds of nature, but melodies played on special instruments.
Música ambiente, exatamente.
And a melody is?
Meu Deus. Vai, Paimon, canta uma canção.
Hey, don't you patronize Paimon. Let's get one thing straight. Paimon knows plenty of nursery rhymes, but Paimon does not sing on demand. Without payment.
Paimon, toque Despacito.
Hey, why don't you just sing that one melody Shen has heard before? It'll probably help her to understand what we're talking about.
Que isso? Por que eu tô cantando com a boca aberta?
Com a boca aberta não seria seria ha, 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 ha.
Oh, was that from the opera that Yoonjin sang?
Modelos 3D são bugados.
That was a melody, and melodies can be called
O
music.
Lumini vai tomar copyright. Vai, Ganil, dá strike nela.
It felt like I was transported back to the past. In my mind's eye, I could see the Zhao lanterns lighting up the night sky again. We're all there, raising our glasses and drinking to our heart's content on the Jade Chamber. As I watched Yoonjin's performance, I felt a warm sensation in my heart.
Yoonjin. Eu pensei em Yoonjin e falei Ganil por algum
It
motivo.
went from warm to hot. When you hummed that melody just now, feelings from a whole year ago came right back to me, as strong as they were on that day. So that's the power of music.
Viu o pessoal falando que o Eder parece uma moto.
Wow, Shenhe. That was so deep. Music definitely has the power to bring up memories. It's like a time capsule with all the special moments from our lives squished inside. What about you, Ganyu?
Na dublagem japonesa ou chinesa, a Lumini canta de verdade. Ah, e faz sentido.
I don't remember if my parents ever sang any lullabies to me. I know some local folk songs, and a few other things come to mind too. The songs of the sailors down at the docks. The little ditties that the vendors call out in front of their beloved shops. The tunes of folk artists performing on the streets.
É que é um jogo indie, humilde, feito por dois caras e um fundo de quintal, Dante. Faz sentido, faz sentido. Esqueci desse detalhe.
Yes, that's right. In the past,
Fala com o Dan.
whenever I heard the sound of those tunes, I always felt that they were worlds apart from me. Nenny and Liyue probably view me as a non-human. And they are right, in the sense that I never could connect with humans' artistic expression and their sentiments. So I haven't been able to integrate into their community and be a part of their life. At least, that's the view I held in the past. Only more recently did I start to realize that the only barriers are ones that I have erected with my imagination. The way those melodies make me feel isn't all that different from other people after all.
Okay.
They're about mundane details of everyday existence. Even though we come from different backgrounds and have different stories to tell, when it comes down to the most common things that we see and experience around us each day in the city, in that sense, we're all the same.
You go, Ganyu! You're really making progress. You have loads of friends in Liyue Harbor when you think about it. Like, okay, maybe some are more like coworkers and bosses. But at the very least, Kuching and Shenhe are your friends now, right?
Ai, meu Deus.
I am.
Ok.
Technically speaking, we should refer to each other by the conventional forms of address used among fellow disciples. But now that I know what constitutes a friendship, I do believe we are more friends than co-disciples.
Oh, que bonitinha. Ela tá descobrindo que uma amizade é.
Thank you, everyone.
Once the days are warmer, I would like to host you at my home in the city. Please invite Kuching as well. I've planted many types of flowers. I'm sure some of them will be to your taste.
Que fofo.
You are too kind. I couldn't possibly...
Nonsense. You are my friend.
Ela tem casa? Peraí, é verdade, né? Ela tem casa. Caraca. Na minha cabeça ela morava no topo da montanha lá. Dormia naquela mesa lá no centro do rio.
I have cultivated and cared for the flowers just as you taught me. Once you've seen them for yourself, I am sure you can advise me how to do an even better job next time. I will save some for decoration.
Ela e o Xiao. Não, o Xiao nem dorme. O Xiao, ele apaga de tempos em tempos, assim, desmaia.
Then, thank you in advance. Wait, what is that saying again? If you insist?
Do people say that? I'm not completely sure either.
It doesn't matter, okay? You got the point across. No need to split hairs. Paimon's more concerned about your idea of a girls' night out. Eating flowers.
Oh, comer flores é uma boa diversão.
You both being the disciples of that illuminated bird?
É uma boa diversão. O Dante não lê os textos em voz alta, não. Eu só leio mentalmente. Tá pulando diálogo? Oxi. Vocês estão malucos? Mas vocês estão biruta? Estão biruta? Eu tô prestando atenção. Eu duvido que a Kikin vai comer alguma flor, inclusive.
Who dares refer to one not by one's adeptus title, but merely as that illuminated bird?
Eu aqui, ó. Eu.
Master. Our greetings, Cloud Retainer.
Ah! There it is! The illuminated bird is landed!
A Paimon só não se importa.
Double humph. Now she has the gall to use it rather than she. Even after being chastised once already? Barely a moment has passed since we last met, and yet your impertinence has reached new heights. Very well. If you refuse to learn your lesson, one shall scold you no further.
Meu Deus.
One has received your message from Ganyu. On the matter of the adeptus.
Tava pulando muito rápido. Ah, desculpa, deu uma empolgadinha. Desculpa.
Well, shall one
É
lead
que eu
the
leio
way?
rápido e aí geralmente eu deixo um pouco mais, mas eu dei uma empolgada, então não percebi.
I still have to complete my training for today, so I will bid farewell to everyone here.
Very well. Await my arrival at one's abode later this night. On this special occasion, you should indulge yourself with some savory dishes.
Salgadinho.
If you want to release a Shao Lantern, come and find us anytime.
Thank you, everyone. Happy Lantern Rite to you too.
Fofo. Ela aprendeu a musiquinha. E agora? Eu tô perto do fim do segundo capítulo? Não, tá sim, não, mais ou menos. Tá. Vocês acham que aqui não é um bom lugar pra parar, então? Vai, continua mais um pouco. Se tu for agora, tu não vai querer parar. Ai. Ok.
Is this Quaily Plains?
Uhum.
Cloud Retainer, why did you bring us here?
Planeta de Guile. Esse era o lugar que a Gizong e o Zhongli comandavam juntos, né? Por isso tem esse nome, Guile, de...
Ganyu is of course familiar with the name Guizhong.
Ah, eu banjo ainda da história.
Guizhong is another name of Agentis, the god of dust.
E se a moça que cantava era Gizong?
Social gatherings and inventions alike. Long ago, this region was yet a prosperous assembly. Guizhong
Pode ser também, ela é velha. Não, mas acho que ela morreu muito antes disso, eu acho.
Seagazer would always bring out his latest treasure and place it upon the table. He could be quite the braggart. Though usually a mild-mannered fellow, when it came to those collectibles he was so fond of.
Paimon remembers that name. So that's what Seagazer was like.
He was an old friend and a former rival. One has many memories of him. Once he had brought out the treasure, it would predictably become the center of attention. Neither Guizhong nor one was
Ele parecia ser cara
to
legal.
steal the spotlight. So we would then also present our proudest mechanical creations. As Adepti, we were each gifted in our own ways, and naturally proud of our accomplishments in our respective fields of expertise.
Hidrata.
Vou dar um pouquinho da tua água, a minha acabou. Obrigado.
His treasures were not even of his own making. He just used his exploration skills to dig them out of the ground. How, pray tell, could he compare to me, when every single one of one's accomplishments were crafted by one's own hand?
Cloud Retainer, you are getting competitive again.
One digresses.
Ok, eles eram rivaizinhos então.
Every time an argument occurred, Guizhong would come over to watch us during our mutual lambastics.
What kind of nonsense?
No kind of nonsense were we spared. Sometimes she would brazenly opine, why argue between yourselves when neither of you could ever hope to beat me? Other times, she would make unsolicited suggestions, such as, once you two are done arguing, let's go to the foot of the mountain and grill some meat. She always sought to make everyone happy, and one must say, she had quite the gift for it. No matter what nonsense she said, one never felt bothered or offended. It also helped that she never referred to one as that illuminated bird or lady bird.
Come on, get over yourself!
Meu Deus, Paimon.
Anyway, just as our impassioned arguments would reach the apex of acrimony,
Bah, ela mandou bah. Quem faz as legendas é tudo gaúcho aqui. Traduz tudo pra bah.
Who would dare snub the stove god and his wondrous creations? At the sight of him, we would all immediately drop.
Quem ousaria esnobar o deus do fogão? O próprio.
Back then, one was always bothered by how the cups Rex Lapis brought were always too square for one's
Copos quadrados.
Can you see
Isso parece mesmo chato. Nossa.
Then you are most tolerant, but that is its own virtue. Even one could never find fault with Marchosius's cooking.
Amamos o Goba.
As we ate, Guizhong would continue to find topics for conversation, filling the table with humor and laughter. Each of those old
Elas vão jogar Minecraft, pelo visto.
Points of obstinacy. So why was it that whenever we dined together, we always had a marvelous time? We would drink together from a spot high in the mountains until the moon set and the sun rose, and only then would the banquet finally come to an end. Streetwood Rambler would often remain to admire the flowers with
Qual era Adeptus Corista?
returning to her own abode.
Essa não é a primeira vez que eu ouvi isso, hein? Eu lembro de Adeptus Corista.
Entire fields of them would appear to the eye as a veritable sea of flowers.
Ela é a Ping, é verdade, é verdade. É a Ping, Adeptus Corista. Sempre ficava para admirar as suas com a Gizong antes de tornar sua moradia. E?
Streetward Rambler?
That would be Ping.
É a Madame Ping, a gente ouviu isso. Essa informação não é nova, a gente já sabia.
Okay. Wait, this is a lovely story and everything, but didn't we come here to find that Adeptus from Mr. Dvorak's story? Or are you saying
Foi na Yao Yao, verdade.
Didn't she already
É a Madame Ping, Paimon.
Alas, long has one avoided this place for precisely that reason. The sights here are a reminder of a time long gone and evoke much sorrow.
Pelo amor de Deus.
One should have guessed that you would disrupt one's poignant moment of mourning with your incessant questioning. No matter, one will share the whole story with you now.
Mais história. Oh.
In times gone by, one quarreled oft with Guizhong concerning mechanical principles. We each had our ideals, and neither would yield. Under the pretext of a social gathering, one invited the impartial Rex Lapis to judge the quality of our creation.
Oh, meu Deus.
But Rex
Ele era o
Lapis
juiz.
declared that Guizhong's obscuro vulpus mechanism was superior.
A Gizong é muito... Meu Deus, a retentora... Não, pera. A retentora tem forma humana. A Gizong é muito linda, a retentora mais ainda.
As for the story between Guizhong and Streetward Rambler, that begins with a certain bell. In Gui Zhang's opinion, while mechanisms were
Meu
no
Deus.
substitute for human composers, they were
O
yet capable
sino.
of producing simple but fine melodies. But Streetwood Rambler believed music to be an expression of
A
the
Madame
soul,
Peng,
an
jovem.
emotional enterprise that could never hope to be replicated by machinery. They argued endlessly until one asked Rex Lapis to intercede. He confiscated the bell and designated it for ceremonial use.
Então, é o sino
One
cerimonial.
would often find them convening in the mountains, discussing music, mechanics, and all the affairs of the mortal world. But these good times were not to last. War
Yippee.
broke out between the gods, and soon engulfed the Guili
Yippee.
plains. Gui Zhang was overpowered by the enemy, and fell in battle. When Streetwood Rambler and I arrived at the scene at long last, all that remained among the ruins was her lifeless body. After this, at Streetwood Rambler's request, Rex Lapis granted her the cleansing bell for safekeeping. To honor our friend's memory, one made a few finishing touches to her ballistic device. Many lantern rites have passed since then. Many greetings and goodbyes. Upon what do you gaze? The Guili Plains?
No. It's everything. We think of human life as like a lantern that's lit one minute and extinguished the next. But are we Adepti so different? Perhaps as dust settles after a storm, we too must one day return to the world below.
One has always been austere and private by nature, and has never relished socializing. One's dealings with Gui Zhang were born out of discussions on the discipline of mechanics.
Vocês queriam encerrar a live com um clima triste mesmo? Era isso que vocês queriam?
What? You have loads of friends, and you seem pretty chatty.
Tem muitos amigos.
Just because one is not ignorant of social graces does not
Não
mean
chorei
one
dessa
is
vez,
fond
tá?
of them.
Tô bem.
One is perfectly capable of
Tô
partaking
bem.
in
Deixa eu comer mais
conversation
amendoim.
despite being introverted.
Nham, nham, nham. Tristeza, não sei o que é isso, tá? Ó, achei muito legal.
But in the end, one is nothing like Streetwood Rambler. She is dauntless but thoughtful, not to mention eloquent and wise. Moreover, her friendship with Gui Zhang was far greater than one's own. Back when they were rivals, they would often compete against one another in the realm of musical composition. That cleansing bell was one of Gui Zhang's proudest works, having the ability to both compose and perform.
Wait, that's weird. Didn't Madame Ping say she pestered an old friend for that bell? And she also said something about being a vain beauty when she was young or something.
Streetwood Rambler, a vain beauty. My foot.
Ué.
That bell has a sad history. Clearly, she refrained from sharing with you the truth of its origins, since the right time had not yet come.
Peraí, ela acabou de puxar uma frase da Madame Ping lá da história de LIYUE quando a gente pede o sino dela? Pro funeral do Rex Lapis? Meu Deus, porque agora desbloqueou essa memória dela ter falado que pegou de um amigo e a gente achou... Tá, ela pegou o sino do amigo Zhongli, Rex Lapis. O amigo era... A gente achava que o amigo era o Arconte. Foi aí que a gente ligou os pontinhos. Olha, ela tem ligação com o Zong. Mas então, aparentemente, não.
As for her old friend, who else could it be? As soon as Streetwood Rambler heard that a certain Zhong Li wished to borrow the bell, she realized that the man was none other than Rex Lapis, and that he had made an enormous decision.
É, isso a gente percebeu. Esse diálogo expositivo não precisava.
After all, we all have known each other for several millennia. Some things between us are implicitly understood.
Whoa! So they were talking in secret code? Oh, Paimon did not see that one coming.
Enough of your intrusions. Where was one up to? Ah, yes. One remembers now. The cleansing bell is powered by a mechanical art and can be used to great effect as an accompanying instrument. After the passing of its creator, it was used on numerous occasions during rites of parting, but Streetwood Rambler did not acquire it from Rex Lapis for the purpose of producing further funerary tunes. No. Each time she rang it, it was to play the tune that Guizhong composed on it. The two once clashed over their beliefs about the meaning of music. Who would have thought that with Guizhong's passing and Streetward Rambler's mourning, two tunes composed in discord would... Once upon a time, Streetwood Rambler also loved gatherings, liquor, and music. But after Guizhong passed, she preferred her own company. She could often be found sitting alone at a mountain summit. The music would go from mournful to soothing to impassioned. Many years passed before she finally composed a melody to her satisfaction.
Não consigo nem fazer piada mais com a situação.
She played the tune to the clouds.
Já perceberam que todo final de quest eu começo a não conseguir mais fazer tanta piada? Geralmente eu tô triste. Tô percebendo um padrão aqui.
Perhaps it was during that performance that the ancestor of your Fontaine friend fell into the water and was saved by Streetwood Rambler.
But if she was so happy with the melody, why would she only play it once?
One was also greatly...
É só lembrar do zong do bambu dele.
After suppressing one's curiosity for a long while, one finally approached her and asked why she would retire the tune after having spent so long on it. In response, she said, though the strings that played that melody survive, the one who inspired it is gone. Tell me, Cloud Retainer, when the one attuned to my soul is no longer here, who else could hope to understand this tune?
Meu Deus.
Aw, poor Madame Ping.
I just remember being taken care of by you when I was young. Once the Archon War came to an end, I stayed behind in Liyue Harbor to honor my contract. Although I met Guizhong a few times, I never knew anything of this particular story.
Guizhong was quite the visionary, but tragically passed before her time. Her manuscripts still lie unfinished in the realm of clouds. Had you not decided to search for that mystery Adeptus, perhaps these stories too would have been lost to the sands of time.
Meu Deus.
As of now, you know the truth. That the Adeptus who rescued the drowning man was none other than Streetwood Rambler.
Eu acertei no chute, é isso mesmo?
Do you intend to discuss this with her?
É isso mesmo. Beleza.
Do you mean Ping might find the topic too distressing?
Precisely.
Então tá bom.
The passing of our old friend is a heavy topic that both of us are usually careful to avoid.
Para de saltitar esse mouse. Nunca. Às vezes eu coloco o mouse atrás de mim pra ninguém perceber que eu tô com a perninha.
If I may be so bold, Cloud Retainer, could it be that this is just your own personal opinion?
Oh? How so?
I've been in Liyue Harbor for quite a long time now, and I've witnessed many farewells along the way. So I, too, am well acquainted with the pain of the passing of a loved one.
Por isso que tava tendo uma chuva de mensagem apagada, porque o chat não tava se contendo e tava confirmando. Ah, agora eu entendi. Entendi.
But this doesn't bring the city or its people to a standstill. They have to keep moving forward. Someone as perceptive
Obrigado por me salvar.
will surely have come to understand and embrace this. Though these immortal mountains have lost an adeptus, the harbor of mortals has gained a wise elder. No loss can ever be undone. But there is always much that can still be gained. Ping has helped countless people, and will guide many others in the years to come. And all to whom she extends a helping hand become her friends. People she can admire flowers and discuss music with. Though it is heartbreaking to lose a kindred spirit, life goes on, because there are new friends waiting for you further down the road.
Uma alma gêmea. Oh, então a Madame Ping e a Gizong... Agora faz mais sentido ainda. Melodia apaixonante.
We even asked Madame Ping what she thought about adding a music festival to this year's Lantern Rite. When we get back, why don't we just ask her if she'd like to perform? Maybe we can even get her up on stage.
You youngsters and your imaginations.
Why don't you come with us? It's been a long time since you last spoke with Ping, and Liyue Harbor is always decorated so beautifully during the festival period.
Sim, Golofera, obrigado pelos 10 bits. Tá lá o Zong ali sentado, esperando, encarando nada. Ai, ai. Não tinha interpretado desse jeito. Um chip canon? Plausível, plausível. Eu não sei, ela falou em inglês Kindred Spirit. Não sei se traduziu pra alma gêmea. Eu acho que tá certa a tradução. Mas é interessante.
Were there ever anything new to discuss? One in Ping could meet any day of the year.
I disagree. Each new day and each new year is different from those that have come before.
Mas estranho. A Gizong não tinha uma relação muito assim com o Zong? Ou eu tô louco? Pois é, eu lembro que tinha. Não teve confirmação, só teoria. Então é isso, né? Aqueles ok na minha cabeça era isso. Mas maneiro, ok, maneiro. Maneiro.
The edibles she brought this time. Very well. Then one will be off. If the other old
tá bom, Retentor, eu quero dormir. Tá bom por hoje, Retentor. Isso, voa.
All right. We should be getting back to the harbor as well. We don't want to keep her waiting. If we planted
Antes da assembleia de Guile,
cared for them carefully enough, do you think that one day we'd be able to recreate the sea of glaze lilies?
Allow one to take back one's praise from a moment prior. You are still far too given to flights of fancy,
Ela
child.
voltou. Por que tu voltou?
What? Cloud Retainer? You were still listening?
One observed that you were making no effort to leave, and returned to chasten and hasten you. This time, one is departing in earnest.
Acabou. Tá bom, por hoje tá bom. Essa foi a primeira parte do Festival das Lanternas. A primeira parte foi maneira. Descobrimos lore, descobrimos Ping lore e Gizong lore. Descobrimos aí um possível relacionamento aí. Falaram aí que alma gêmea significa uma ligação forte. Pode não ser exatamente romântico. E tá certo, realmente. Tá certo. Pode ser, pode não ser. Mas achei interessante essa relação aí. No fim do dia, vocês sabem que, né? Nenhum casal vai ser confirmado em momento nenhum, porque a Royoverse é assim. Não confirma casal nenhum. Mas... pode ser amiga de fofoca? Pode ser amiga de fofoca. Pode ser best friends, pode ser relacionamento, pode ser amantes, pode ser qualquer coisa. Porque a Royoverse faz isso de propósito exatamente pra deixar na mente dos fãs tirar suas próprias conclusões. O bambu vai esperar mais 4 dias até ser entregue. Os bambu vão ter que esperar mais uns dias aí. É isso. Muito obrigado aí.
E aqui a gente se vê na parte 2 disso aqui, que deve sair... Acho que eu vou fazer na segunda, na verdade. Na segunda-feira esse pau. Nossa, vai ter que ter outro Genshin Day, é isso mesmo? Nossa, por que eu deixei acumular coisa? Ai, meu Deus. Tá bom, vamos ver. Vamos ver segunda-feira.